Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast.
This is where you will get smart tactics and strategies to accelerate your business.
And where we share top agent secrets and stories that will help all of us be better at our profession and serve our clients better. And we're your hosts, Todd Sumney
And Rich LaRue.
Let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone. On today's episode of the Real Estate Podcast, we had Clara Capano, who inspired me, and she talked about some very key tactics that agents can use. Rich, you want to give a quick recap of what we heard?
Amongst other things, she is a ninja selling coach, and she's really focused in for today's market on mindset and delivering value. This is a very fast hour where she delivers 2 hours worth of value at least, and it's worth your time. Give it a listen.
Well, and in between those two major points of mindset and value, she gave us tactics on daily processes and how to tackle certain things. And it's a big one for me was tackling that to-do list and in a unique way that'll enable you to get more done.
Here we go.
We are joined here today on the Real Estate Podcast with Clara Capano. And Clara has been in this industry for many years, has a passion for helping agents. And today you are going to hear all kinds of things about how to grow your business, build your brand as an agent, how to be unstuck, how to not get stuck, and more importantly, just about what to do to help more buyers and help more sellers. So I'm excited today to spend some time talking with you, Clara. So this is great. Thank you for joining us.
I am excited too. Being in the real estate industry for over 30 years, it is an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing career. And, it's something that we need to pay attention to because it can be all consuming and it can be wonderful all at the same time.
Love that. Well, tell us a little bit about who is Clara and how did you get involved in real estate? What's your passion for real estate?
Love that. So, I actually never thought I would end up in real estate. When I was younger, I truly thought I was going to go into the field of law. And I tell people all the time, the reason I wanted to go into law is I really wanted to be a judge because I love to make money and I love to tell people what to do. So I thought that would have been a great fit. And along the journey there, I started talking with people and they all basically said the same thing. Don't do it. The quality of life isn't good. The money's not that great. And as I was coming out of college, I was connected with a lady out of Boulder, Colorado, who ran a high performance team in real estate. And quite frankly, I was looking at being a paralegal and I was looking at her and she paid more. So I said, let's try it and see what we're doing at the age of 22. And then I decided I really liked it. I loved the different facets of it. I loved the fast paced movement of it. I loved that, it had no ceiling as far as what you could make and earn. So I dove in, and as a team, we were closing about 400 to 500 transactions. So I learned every angle of the business. Then both my parents are educators, so it must have trickled through me. So after about 7 years on the team, I then went into leadership. So I managed 4 different offices in the Denver metro area. My smallest office had about 50 agents and my largest had just under 200. And it was during that time that I really started leaning into the coaching aspect and being more of a coach than just a sales manager. And that's where my passion of helping people run a business came together. I just found that so many realtors, they were great at the buying and selling. What they weren't good at is running a business. And so they found themselves living on the hamster wheel of life and, always running behind. So that's where sort of one of my skill sets came together. And I decided to move on. I got my master's degree in organizational development and communication. And then in 2009, I joined on with a group out of Fort Collins, Colorado called Ninja Selling. And they have an amazing system directed towards realtors to help them build a better business and at the same time do it while maintaining work-life harmony. And it was the perfect match. And so I've been part of Ninja Selling since then. And yeah, I go on the road. I'm on the road as a speaker, not only for Ninja. I do a lot of my own speaking at conferences, at industries outside of real estate. So I can take a lot of the components of mindset, productivity, and leadership and just help people, again, find that work-life harmony and do it in a smarter way.
So Clara, this is the fall of 2024, and it's been an interesting year, to say the least. Lots of changes in the business that you've been following. What do you think agents need to focus on today in order to A, stay in the business, B, accelerate their business, and I guess C, be a super success.
Yeah.
How do you see that going?
And I might see things a little bit differently. You know, I've been in this business for a long time, and I will tell you when these changes happen, because they happen all the time. Every year, every 18 months, there's a new change, and everyone thinks the business is going to fall apart and we're all going to be over. I don't listen to those things anymore because all of that stuff is outside of my control. So the one thing that I do, and the one thing that I really talk to agents about doing, is focus on what you need to do. Focus on what you need to control. And the truth is, we only can control two things. The first thing is our mindset. Our mindset sets the stage for everything. You're either going to be in a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset. For me, I'm in a mindset of serving others, of helping others, of delivering impact to others. There will always be people I can help. So as long as I keep my mindset focused, because your mindset controls your energy then controls if you take the right actions. And then showing up every day and doing those actions. That's what delivers the result. I can't focus on the paycheck, which is the result. I've got to focus on the actions. You know, and the one thing that I am trying to remind people of right now is, you know, real estate's been around since the dark ages. It is one of two of the oldest professions out there. It's not going anywhere. We have already been through pandemics. We've been through floods, fires, locusts, all those. It's not going anywhere. There will always be people to serve because real estate is one of the three basic needs: food, clothing, shelter. We're in there. Two, there's always going to be reasons that people move, and they're going to be moving because of a family situation, a business situation, a lifestyle change, or now it's time to accomplish their dreams. It is hugely complex and it's high risk. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. And all of these quote unquote changes, they freak us out because we're worried about the 15%. The 15% of the population that just wants the cheapest game in town, that doesn't find value in what a proactive, trusted advisor does. The thing is if you have a mindset, a belief of abundance mindset, that's 85% that will honor you and see the value that you bring. So why don't we just spend our time on those people and let the other ones go away? So I don't buy into this. So you ask me, what should they be doing? They should be doing the same things they should have been doing 6 months ago, 6 years ago. It's always the same thing. Show up and do your job, which is serving others, delivering values, educating them, and informing them. Your job is not real estate. Real estate is the byproduct of your job, which is getting out there and delivering value.
Well, and that's what you did when you walked into our ninja selling meeting a week or two ago and talked to the group of agents going through that class. You know, one of the things I love about right in the book, the ninja selling book, is stop selling, start solving. You know,
So
people
true.
need help, and I think sometimes people forget that there are situations that arise in life, and people need help. They need help selling, or they want to sell, and they need help buying, and they want to buy, right?
It's so true. You know, people go through life changes. And one of the things that we talk a lot about in Ninja is this concept of FORD. You know, FORD is an acronym for family, occupation, recreations, and dreams. And if you think about it, those are also the main reasons that people move. They move because of a change in their family, change in their occupation, a change in their recreation or lifestyle, or their dreams. And what we have to do is be agents of change. Now, you know, we have to key into those. And the only ways we do that is by talking with people, going back to what is your real job, talking with people, being out there, connecting with people.
Right.
Clara, obviously, your mindset is different than many. You're very focused. What do you do daily to keep your mindset where it is?
So, and that's a great question because, you know, having an abundant mindset doesn't mean that you show up every day with rose-colored glasses on. You know, challenges happen, bad things happen. No day is perfect. It's in how we respond to it and, you know, really trying to put the perspective on it. For example, today I have a training. Training's not going to come together. I could sit there and wallow in it and focus on, oh my God, it's a paycheck. Or I could look at it and say, you know what? It's happening for a reason. I now have that extra week and I can focus on these projects during that week. It's, you know, it's looking at those things. So for me, I get up, I am an early bird. I get up at 5 a.m. and I start my day off and I do mindset work. So I do a gratitude practice, I do my visualization, my affirmations to kind of get my mindset in the groove of showing up for abundance. I do a workout, whether it's a walk with my dog or maybe a Pilates class. I do handwritten notes because I love to, again, show appreciation for those that are helping me to become the person that I want to do. You know, then I kind of jump into my day, but I've identified, you know, just like with Ninja, we have what we call our Ninja 9, which are the 9 habits that if you do them, you'll see success. So I've adapted those to my job as a speaker, trainer, coach, all of those. So, you know, every week it's what are the core components and I time block them. And then I show up, rinse and repeat.
Great. Thank you.
So does that mindset, you know, does that really work? I mean, just, you know, being the you know, the mindset, getting up those daily affirmations and everything. Okay, I know it does, but I'm asking the question rhetorically from the standpoint of what do you think it triggers
Mm-hmm.
in people, because you have seen thousands of before and afters in your career.
I was one of
Okay.
those before and afters. When I went to Ninja
Tell
the
us
first
more.
time, I thought it was the hokiest thing. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm doing this stuff. I'm like, just teach me how to sell real estate, teach me how to make more money. I'm like, and I was blown away. I was one of those people where we would consider me to be a realist because, you know, that's what pessimists call themselves when they don't want to be considered pessimistic. I was sort of the crispy one of the family and the cynical one of the family. And it's completely changed my life. You know, people are attracted to my energy. They've never said that. Again, I make more money. I have more fun. You know, people want to be around me. You know, people tell me, I love, you know, your passion. It's like it completely unlocked me. So yeah, being able to do it. And from a scientific perspective, it gets into your non-conscious brain. And I know we only have a short time, but when you look at our brain, we have our conscious brain and our non-conscious brain. Well, our non-conscious brain equates to about 98% of our behaviors come from that. And when you start doing all of these visualizations, all of these affirmations, what it does is it actually imprints on your non-conscious brain, which is what really directs us. So the reason that it works from a scientific perspective is it actually does rewire your brain. The challenge is it will rewire your brain for whatever you feed it. So if I sat here in that abundance mindset, it's going to rewire me for abundance. If I sit there in the negative mindset, it's going to rewire me for negative. So I had to work on reprogramming. And what I did is now I see it. You know, when I sit down, I see opportunity every day. You know, little things. I'm at the airport almost every week. I don't get attached to if the plane's delayed. I'll get there. All it gave me this just sort of sense of grounding, a sense of calmness, so I can think more clearly. I can again respond to things, you know, in a more purposeful way. It's helped me be more purposeful and less reactive. And all of those things just help you run a better business because you're thinking at a higher level. And that's what we need to do is we have to remember we are independent contractors. We are also CEOs. And we have to start thinking like CEOs and making those high level decisions for what is going to be the best for the organization, even if it's just an organization of one.
So many of us who are listening or watching this podcast absolutely agree with you, Clara. And at the same time, I hear the voices of 1,000 agents in my head going, okay, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. Where do I start? If you were to, if you were just dipping your toe into a new mindset and maybe you know, meditating or doing a gratitude practice, as you say,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like, where would you send a person to do that? What
Yeah.
book or podcast or whatever training, whatever it is? How would you get started? If you were to start all over again today, where would you start?
So I am going to talk about a gratitude practice, and that's where I would start. The reason I like it is it's easy, it's free, you can do it at any time of the day. Also, from a scientific perspective, our brains cannot hold two conflicting thoughts at a time. So if you are in gratitude, you cannot be in depression, scarcity, or any of those things. So simply by getting into gratitude, you're already shifting the energy. As far as books, there is an amazing book called Mindset. It's written by
So
Dr.
real quick, before you go on to the books, the mindset of the gratitude.
Yeah.
Is there a process that you go through or an exercise?
You know, I just wake up in the morning and I say, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for today? And I just go from there. I say, don't overcomplicate it. So many people go to family, health, and all of those are great. But you know what? Sometimes I'm just grateful that I got a good night's sleep. Sometimes I'm grateful to wake up to have my dog's face looking at mine because she's so adorable. You know, sometimes I am grateful to wake up and, you know, hear the rain, which we don't hear a lot here in Arizona. You know, when I used to live in Colorado, I'd be grateful for heated seats in my car. So again, don't overcomplicate it. There are so many beautiful things. I mean, you could just start at the tip of your head. Hair. I'm grateful for my hair. I'm grateful for my eyelashes. I'm grateful for my skin. You know, I mean, not
Right.
everybody has those things, you know? So again, you know, changing that perspective. Now, some people like to write them down. You certainly can. I just like to kind of just go through them. And then what I do is, again, I go through my day, but also if I have a moment in my day where I get off the phone and have a challenging conversation or something doesn't go right, before I jump into my next thing, I just stop and I get back into gratitude. So again, it helps me to shift my energy. So if my energy starts to wane, you know, in the day, and then I actually do what I call bookend my days. So I start my day with gratitude. I end my day with gratitude. So just like I wake up and I say, what are 3 things I'm grateful for? I end the day with what are 3 great things that happened today? Because so many of us get to the end of the day and we focus on everything we did not get done. We're still getting a lot of great things done. So if we can bookend our days, it's a lot easier.
I'm gonna make a note about that one. I like
Right.
that one. That's good. Okay, so I interrupted you when
No, no, that's fine.
you were getting
So
into your
Mindset
books.
by, yeah, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck is a great book on mindset. Um, you know, some of the people I think that would be great to follow if you're looking for mindset is Mel Robbins. You know, she's written great books, but she does a lot on manifesting and doing those things. I really love if you're looking at, again, creating habits. Brendan Burchard is great with that. Robin Sharma, Darren Hardy, you know, so many great things. And then I have to say ninja selling. So if I were to be getting started in real estate, if I were in a slump in real estate, I mean, there it is. It's right behind me too. You know, honestly, it's fantastic. If I were to go back in time, I don't know. I might have stayed in sales. I mean, it was so life changing for me, and it's a true honor to be able to be one of their guides because I get to go around, you know, the globe and see it unlock people. And it's helping new agents, it's helping existing agents. I have so many veteran agents that are like, I wish I had this 30 years ago when I got started, because it just makes it so clear. And like you said, it's funny because we talk about ninja is so not selling, yet it's called ninja selling, but it's all about, again, how are we serving? And, you know, it's because some of the things that make ninja a little different that really help people is, again, it is focused on helping you grow your personal mastery. So again, you're always growing yourself so that you can become stronger. Again, we're not going to sell, we're going to deliver value. We are going to have a business strategy that is focused on relationships and is not transactional. And then we're going to teach people how to communicate in a way that's going to connect them and build trust. So again, it's not about the focus on the buying and selling of real estate. It's the focus on building a relationship business and focusing on creating value and delivering value daily, which is vastly different than so many other programs.
What are the some of the nuanced differences in communication that you just referenced?
Yeah. So communication is a skill set, and it's one that we all should be practicing because it is so imperative in everything that we do. And quality, there's a difference between communication and quality communication. So, you know, being able to go back to the term of mirror and match, a lot of people talk about that, you know, and people like to work with others that are more like them. So you could look at the different personality styles. The most common one is the DISC profile, which is the driver, influencer, supporter, and controller. Well, I want to be able to be a chameleon, because even though I might be one personality or more like another personality, if I'm going to show up and work with you and build trust, I need to mirror and match you. So teaching them the different personality styles and what are some of the core characteristics, looking at learning modalities. How do people take in and absorb communication? So if I'm teaching you, if I'm educating you, informing you, I want to deliver communication in a way that you are going to best learn it. And then also looking at how we are delivering. In the age of technology, it's been wonderful because we can deliver communication on a grander scheme and in a quicker pace. At the same time, it is ruining communication because the meaning is getting lost. What we find is that only 7% of meaning lies in the words that we use, whereas 38% lies in our pitch, our tone, and our tempo, and then 55% in our body language and how we look. So if I am doing too much communication over texting and emailing, it's going to be very low communication. There is too much margin of error. And again, if I'm showing up to guide someone through their real estate transaction, to be their trusted advisor, I have to ensure quality communication because there is just too much at risk. So I think sometimes we are too passive in letting the clients dictate to us what works for them, when what we need to really do is say, you know what, you're hiring me to protect you, to protect your interests. I need to control the process of how we're going to deliver information and communicate because there's just too much room for error and too much on the line.
So does that mean that sometimes you might text a client, other clients you might email, maybe other clients you might have a phone conversation with, and then other clients you just might proactively record a quick video and shoot that off to them, so
That's
that
part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. And it's also situational. If I am confirming an appointment or yes, the carpeting is blue, that's totally fine for a text message. If I'm negotiating, I am not on texting or email. Negotiating, I am face to face, voice to voice at a bare minimum. So, what I say is if you're just connecting with people, at least once a quarter, try to have a real conversation with them. But, if you're just kind of connecting, you can do some of the other things. But during a transaction, when the game is on the line, when we are in higher level conversations, you cannot be texting and emailing. And the thing is, it's not just with your clients, it's with the other agents because we're all working together for the common goal. And I know some people think we're on the opposite teams. We're all on the same team. We all have the same goal. And when we come together and collaborate together, everyone's going to win. So again, don't see the agent on the other side of the transaction as your enemy. Work together, collaborate with them. So get on the phone with them. I love what you brought up about the video text messaging because that is so good and people are still not aware of it. I always say if you can't get a hold of them, send either a video over with your counter, your inspection, whatever. Or again, I love the video text message. It brings in the pitch, the tone, the tempo, and they can see you. So it's going to be even easier. So again, these are the good things about technology and how we can leverage technology.
Do you have a particular video tool that you choose to use?
I use my phone all the time.
Okay.
I bought all the things. I bought the fancy videos. I went into Bomb, got all those things. And honestly, I find the things that people respond to most are just when you're truly authentic. So you can buy all those things. They look great. They look wonderful. Again, I use some of that stuff for my podcast, but a lot of times I just pick up the phone and I go, and that people just want to know you care. So don't overcomplicate it.
Love that. I know someone that, Rich, I know you probably have some other questions, but I know someone that just went through a 2 or 3 day ninja course last week. And I spoke to them on Friday afternoon and they said, I am so pumped up and energized and excited. And the thing that excites me the most, I've been in this for many years, is that the systems and the processes and the daily actions. So I'm kind of getting back to a little bit where Rich was talking about where would an agent start, so we're talking about an agent they're here in their business and they want to take their business to a different level. So we start with that gratitude, that mindset, maybe but how do the systems and processes help an agent?
They help with consistency. They help
And
with
go.
saving time and with consistency. When you don't have processes, you can't duplicate things. And when you have a system, you show up and you run the system each and every time. So one, it's going to bring clarity for you. It's going to bring confidence to you. It's also going to bring that confidence to your clients so that they feel comfortable referring to you because they know things aren't going to fall through the cracks. When you have a system, the number one reason that we see so many of us going on vacation and still working when we're on vacation is because we don't have a system that we can hand off to someone with the confidence that things are going to be followed. So having systems for, how you stay connected, how you run your buyers and your sellers, with Ninja, we have a 16-step seller process, 10-step buyer process. We have processes for how you do your phone calls, leave messages for, when you connect with people. We have processes for everything because it is a system. Because remember, you're running a business, and a successful business needs systems because we want sustainability. Now, both of you have probably seen this. I know I've seen this over my 30 plus years in the business. I call it the peaks and valleys, where I'm really busy with my business today. I close all of this business, and then my business takes a nosedive because I haven't been generating the business. Then I ramp it up again, and then it takes a nosedive. We want to get rid of that. When you run a system, the system strategically has activities to take care of today's business and activities to generate tomorrow's business. So you're never going to have those peaks and valleys. So it's about the sustainability in it. And again, you know what you need to do. So when you get out of the system, which is going to happen, you know how to plug back into it. So it's just making it easier for you. And what we're finding is, one of the agents that we had, she was already making about $200,000 a year. So she was making a good living. Within about 3 years, she started making $2 million in GCI. And she actually said it was easier for her to make over $1 million than it was to earn 200,000, because when you have the system, it's just turnkey.
I've heard that from
And Ninja gives you the system.
two different agents in the last month. So
Yeah.
that is exciting to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great.
It just,
Well,
it's
that's what
fine.
the agent that I spoke to was most excited about, was seeing how they had a vision for how those systems and processes were going to not only help them take their business to a different level, but help them get their personal life back.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. The goals of Ninja are to help you build a better business, help you build a better life. It's right there. And that's what we want. Is we don't want you living in burnout. And I always say, dealing with burnout, it's so easy to get there and hard to get out of. I've lived there. I've been on the other side of that too. And I truly tell people the Ninja selling system is the antidote to burnout, because it's just going to teach you and to put your life at the center. And even when I work with my people and teach them on time and scheduling, regardless of what industry they in, I always tell them, when you put your schedule together for the week, the first thing that goes into your schedule is your life, because the number one reason people don't have a life is they don't schedule it. So let's get clear on defining that and making that important to us. Let's make our relationships, because if you are not living in harmony, you're going to start resenting the other side of it, and you're not going to show up, and you're not going to be purposeful. So we've got to maintain that and have that. And, bringing in, I call it 15 minutes of joy. I know how busy we are, but you can always find 15 minutes to bring joy into your world. And joy is anything that lights you up on the inside. It could be working out. It could be playing with your dog, playing with your kids, cooking, gardening, doesn't matter. But for 15 minutes a day, light yourself up on the inside.
Like that. So I just heard you say scheduling your week out. Can you walk us through that process?
Yeah.
When do you schedule your week out? Is it Sunday night? Is it Monday morning?
Yep. So as a CEO of my company, every Sunday I have a strategy session with myself. And that is when I work on getting my next week together. And this is a non-negotiable to me. I do it every Sunday. Most of the time I do it in the evening. Sometimes I do it on the plane, but most of it gets done on Sunday. And what I do is I, first of all, review the prior week, what worked, what didn't work, what got done. I just sort of look at the prior week so I can look for clues. I can look for, am I not showing up? Am I missing things? All of those things so I can be more purposeful. Then the second step that I do is I just do a mind dump, and I get my to-do list together. And I'm like, these are all the things that I need to get done this week. It could be, follow up with these leads, put together this presentation. I just get everything out of my head. Then I go and I put my schedule together. So again, the first thing that goes into your schedule is your life. So when is going to be time for you to take care of yourself, time for your family, time for your loved ones, time to have fun. You put those things in, and they are now appointments. Then what I do is I am honest with myself about my hours of operations this week, because not every week is the same. And too many times we go into a week expecting to do the same thing when we don't have that time. So if I only have 25 hours this week to devote to my business, my week needs to be set up for 25 hours a week. So get clear, what are your hours of operations? Because it's not how many hours you have, it's how are you using and investing those hours. So looking at that. So then I kind of look at what are my hours of operations, and then I just plug in, how I want to do it. If this is a week where I'm on the road, I'm not going to do virtual coffees like I do. I'm going to have to look at when can I do sort of my non-negotiables, my bare minimum activities. What do I need to delegate out to my virtual assistant to do for me? If it's a week where I'm in town, I can say, okay, I can do my virtual coffees. Who do I want to do them for? I have a little bit more time. So again, it really just helps you to be more clear, because time has to be an investment. And too many of us are out there spending our time and not investing our time.
All right, you've said it twice. Tell us more about virtual coffees. I mean, it sounds to me like it is just that. You're online with somebody and you have coffee, but let's chat more about that. What's that really look like?
So it's just a virtual meetup. It can be coffee, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything. Being that so many of my clients are all over the place, and many times I am in different cities, I do not have the luxury of always going and meeting someone for lunch, for coffee. It just doesn't happen. So what I try to do is, at least strategically 3 times a week, is I get on Zoom and I just have a virtual meetup, and they can be 15, 30 minutes long, and we just connect. It could be a new person, it could be a strategic partner, it could be someone I haven't talked with in a while, and we just use that. So for me, it takes the place of the face-to-face interaction of a lunch or a coffee, and that's what works for me. Face-to-face is always best. I would love to do it. It's just not going to work in my world. So this allows me to still have a deeper connection, be able to see them, have that deeper communication, and be more effective and efficient with my time.
Okay, so what about virtual happy hours then?
Absolutely.
We get a thumbs up on that?
I
Yes?
have. I used to
All right.
over Zoom. I did a lot of those over Zoom. Yep. Yep. And we do that. Like sometimes I do a lot of those, with my girlfriends, or again, just, if it's more of a social thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can just kind of do anything that works for you. I've had lunches with people. So it's just, it's a great way to be effective, to have deeper connection and leverage the technology, because not all of us, again, you go to a lunch with someone, you're talking, it's an hour and a half by the time you do the commute and everything.
Oh, at
And
least,
even
yeah.
though we know it's hugely purposeful, many of us just don't have that luxury of time.
What a great way to do it. And it also relieves us of the guilt associated with, oh, I know I need to get with this person.
Yeah.
And we don't, because
Right.
and we don't, again, because we don't have the hour and a half or 2 hours, and we just can't
Exactly.
seem to fit it in. But
Exactly.
15 or 20 minutes, boom, it's done.
I want to talk a little bit about that guilt, because I work with a lot of people on this. And no matter what system you follow, whether it's Ninja or something else, it doesn't matter. You need to also give yourself grace, and you have to find a way to make it work for you. And so many of us dive into these things, and if we cannot make it work exactly like someone else, or exactly as it's printed out, we then feel like a failure. I was teaching a couple weeks ago, and one of the ladies came up to me, and I was doing my segment on time. She says, I have basically heard the same thing now 4 times. She's like, I finally get it. You gave me permission to do it in a way that's going to work for me. You don't have to operate your life and your business like everyone else. Nobody else is you. Nobody else is going to have the same, parameters. Now, there are patterns. We know that most successful people get up early in the morning. That doesn't mean all of them. Find what's best for you. If you have the luxury and do face to faces, excellent. It doesn't make you any worse of a person if you want to do a virtual one. You've got to find what's going to work for you and then do it. So, again, that's the law of authenticity. So, it's like, don't put yourself in a box and think if you can't do it. The best thing to do is just use your authenticity and give yourself the grace to do it on your terms.
I think that is such great advice. It's taken me most of a lifetime to get to that point in
Yeah.
my life. But once you learn how to give yourself grace for not doing it by the book, or for even doing something and being bad at it, but you did it anyway, so you're getting better at it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's something that over like the past 5 years that has really come together, and oh my goodness, what a difference it makes.
It completely.
Well, you're inspiring me to break out from doing it by the book and doing it for what works for me, meaning like just doing
Oh,
it.
Todd, when have you ever done anything by the book?
Well,
man?
that is very true. That is very
That's a
true.
whole different podcast, I think.
But
It
just
is,
the whole
but
the
he lobbed me a
concept of
softball there. I had to take it.
no,
Anyway, go ahead, Todd.
but it's so true. But it's the whole thing about the norms. I do fall, even though I am that rebellious spirit, in a way. But I too oftentimes I wonder about maybe I've fallen into the norms, just like the lunch example. Oh, I need to have lunch, and I'm carrying around this guilt of going to have lunch and seeing someone and break the mold is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Don't have it on your list for another 2 weeks because you can't find the time to go drive and go have the face-to-face. Just go have lunch with them over Zoom.
Exactly.
Ordering lunch, doing Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Well,
and
break the
even,
mold.
let's talk about the
Freedom.
phone calls, because so many of us realtors have call reluctance. And yes,
Right.
I want you to do the calls as much as you can, but you could sit down at 7 o'clock in the morning and plan your day out, and you have all the intentions in the world of calling a couple people. Then an inspection blows up, your dog throws up, the car has a flat tire. All of a sudden now it's 7 o'clock at night. Maybe what you can do is just send a video text message. Is it the best thing? No, it's still something. So again, as long as at the end of the day you can be like, I truly tried my best and I gave my best, that's a success.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, another thing that I've learned recently, like the past few years, is when I think of someone, when they pop into my head, I will call them now. And because it's authentic. Hey, you were just on my mind. I wanted to call and say hi and check in. We haven't talked recently. What's going on? And whether I get them, whether they answer or not, is not the point.
Yeah.
And I will leave a message saying that, because I want them to know that they're on my mind. I want them to know that I'm thinking of them. It has so many times, there's so many miraculous things that happen around that. And, or it just the serendipity of it,
Oh, yeah.
it's just like, they're popping into your mind for a minute.
And they're there for a reason.
Lean into that.
Yep.
And pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Call them.
And it may be a real estate. It may just be because you needed to connect with them. But there's a reason. We are all connected energetically. And we hear it all the time. Oh, I was thinking about you. And they're like, oh, I was just thinking about you too.
Okay, so back to your planning your week and managing your time. I had an agent the other day ask me a question, and they said, when they're sitting down and they're planning out their to-do list, they realize when they look at that to-do list, there's no way I can get all this done this week.
Yep.
Okay. So what do you do in that situation? Because really, all of it needs done this week. Okay.
So have you ever heard of something called the lion syndrome?
No.
Okay. So the lion syndrome, if you think about the quintessential vision of a circus, you have the lion, and then you have the lion tamer with the whip and the stool and all that kind of stuff. Well, the lion can kill the lion tamer. One fell swoop of its paw. The reason it doesn't is because in the lion's brain, it actually sees 6 things coming at it at one time. It sees the lion tamer, the whip, and then the 4 legs of the stool. And in its brain, I cannot fight off more than 1 thing at a time, maybe 2. The same thing happens to our brain. Our brain slows down its ability to process when it is given more than 5 bits of information. It relatively stops processing when it's given more than 9 bits of information. Have you ever taken somebody out, a buyer, put them in your car and showed them more than 8 homes in one day? And what happens to their brain? It's complete meltdown. It's a meltdown. This is what happens with a to-do list. We look at it, we're constantly looking at it, and our brain starts to swirl and we get overwhelmed. So this is why step 2 is mind dump it. Write everything down that you need to do. And then every day. So on Monday, I go over in the morning before my morning day starts. On Monday, I look at my agenda for the day. And I say, okay, based upon my schedule, I go to my to-do list. Which 3 things can I do today? And I pick 3 things at a time. Then if I get done, I can go to more, but if not, then I'll go to Tuesday based upon my schedule today. Which 3 items can I get done today? And I take them in small, meaningful chunks so I can work through it. Because even if I only got those 3 things done, that's 15 to 21 things a week. It's a pretty good week, but it helps you take it bit by bit. And again, you're doing it purposefully by what actually makes sense that day.
Thank you for that.
I call it my
I
big
have
3. So I go every day, what are my big 3 today?
I have 19 things on my to-do list for today. So this should be my weekly list,
And then you
and just chunk
start
it
with
out.
3. Mhm.
God, you know what?
Well, you know
I'm
what?
changing it. Starting tomorrow morning, I'm taking 3 or 4
Yeah.
things and putting it on there,
That's
Yeah,
and
and
I'll report back to
you
you.
might have more than you can do, but just start with 3. Because one, we all know we're never going to get it all done. So
Right.
again, give yourself some grace, but if you take it with purpose, it's going to help you move through it. What I have found for me is when I just do it by 3, I almost always get those 3 things done and have room for a couple more. But when
right.
I'm looking at the whole list, I get nothing done.
And then you,
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
it is. And then you accomplish something. You know what? It's inspiring for me today with you because we teach this when we're talking about in databases about how would you like to add 500 people, expand your database by 500 people next year. 500 more people is, 500 more opportunities. And everyone is always, yes, I would love to do it, but 500, that's overwhelming. Well, if you break it down to 2 new contacts a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, that's 40 people in a month, then it's, 480 people in a year. It just,
Mhm.
okay, 2 people a day is how you chunk
I
it
can do
down.
that. Exactly.
So, and I've never thought to apply it in this manner to the to-do list because the to-do list is always for us overachievers who are constantly wanting more and more, right?
Yep.
I have 19 things I want to do. So inspiring for me. Thank you for
Good.
that.
Good. Glad it helped.
Love it. What else are you passionate about right now that you'd like to talk about? I got 2 more questions, but I'm going to save them to the end.
Well, I mean, right now I'm really passionate about the foundation that I'm a part of, and this has nothing to do with real estate, but if I can have a moment, I would love to share.
Oh yeah, please.
Love to
So,
hear it.
the foundation that I'm a part of it's called You Are My Light. And what we are doing is we are building recovery homes for survivors of human trafficking and slave labor, because it's happening all around us in every city, in every state. And we're creating something that is completely different. There is nothing around like it. It's going to be more than just a house that they can go to. We actually are building compounds where it'll have the housing. It will also have on staff medical, therapy, trainings for them, possibly like stables, craft rooms, because we want it to be a place where, again, they can truly heal. And because many of them, again, don't have those, we want to help turn them into entrepreneurs and give them something. So even after they can get on their feet and move into their own place, they always have a community to come back to. So we're looking at, building our first one next year. It's going to cost us about $7 million. So we're working on getting donations, but then, we want to have them all over the United States. So I'm really passionate. So for me, a lot of what I do is a give back for all of my books. Whenever I sell my books, all the proceeds from my books go to that. So, my show, when monetizing my show, again, the proceeds after, paying for editing, all of that goes back to the foundation. So I'm just really passionate about
Okay,
getting
so
and making people aware of what's going on.
awesome. Okay, so a couple details on that. Is there a website for the is it the show us your light? What was
It's
it
called You Are My Light. So if
You
you
are
go
my
to
light.
youaremylight.com, that
Yeah.
our website is there. Yes.
Okay, and your books. What are the
Mhm.
titles of your books?
Got 3 of them behind me. So the first one I did in 2017 is called Find Your Focus, 52 Weeks of Clarity. So it has 52 little journal entries and you do one a week. So you read it and then you talk about how you're going to implement that in your world. The second one came out in 2020 and it's called Women Who Boss Up. So it's me and 15 other women sharing our stories. And then the third one just came out last year and it is sort of my baby. It is called The Mother of All Success Manuals, and it's a guidebook for working moms, teaching them how to let go of the guilt and find that work-life harmony.
I love it. And your books can be found where?
Oh, you can go to my website or you can find them on Amazon. If you want an autographed copy, you can just, connect with me and I can sign them away and deliver them.
Nice.
All right. And so your social media handles and your podcast name.
So the social media, it's pretty much just Clara Capano. LinkedIn is my primary one. I'm on all of them, but LinkedIn is my primary area that I'm going to. And my show, the first one is called The Working Women's Channel. And no, I'm sorry, I just changed the name. I rebranded it. Sorry. It's called Women Winning Their Way. So we just rebranded it last year. So I highlight women, professional women, just talking about how they break out of the box and create success on their terms. And again, that redefining of success, like we were talking about. So that is a streaming show. They can find it on my YouTube channel. They can find it on iTunes, all the podcast places. And then I have another streaming show that's also on all of the same ones. It's called Be Productive. And that's where I interview industry experts just about different ways to maintain productivity.
Love
Fantastic.
all of that. So just as a quick reminder to all of our HomeSmart agents who happen to be listening here today, we do have many of our HomeSmart franchises around the country have ninja selling groups, ninja selling programs. So get with your local HomeSmart franchise brokerage leadership team.
And if you want the training, just reach out to me. I would be happy to bring our installation to your region, to your company, and help to change the way that you run your business.
And I was just going to say to all of the Phoenix area agents, if you would like to have a ninja selling installation, that is the intro to the program and actually the application of the program, please reach out to me. We would like to be able to offer this. We really want to lean into this, but we need participation. And so you all know how to find me.
Yeah,
So
it's
reach
an
out. Let's do
amazing thing.
this.
Again, it gives you the whole system. It's not an infomercial where you go through and then you're upsold at the end. When you sign up, you get everything that you need to run the program and make it work for you. So
Right.
All right, we are running out of time. Todd, I know you have two more questions. So why don't you rapid fire those questions to her?
Well, one she already answered, which was all the contact, the podcast, the books, all of that. So thank you for that. The second, though, is, we all have our why we get up in the morning, why we come to our profession every day, what inspires us, what we're trying to help people do. All of us seem to have the why of helping agents become better at our profession, better at running a business, and helping them in doing that, helping them help more consumers buy and sell homes. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So what are some of your before and after stories that you have helped in all over the years? Your why is getting up in the morning and helping agents solve a problem, be better, transform a business from 1 year to the next, from 1 month to the next. Just rapid fire. Give us 3 or 4 stories.
I have so many. I will tell you, I love it when people tell me that they made more money, because that's obviously the goal and what we want. But I love it even more when they tell me the stories such as they were able to go on vacation and truly go on vacation. I had someone, she took her entire family, to Disney World and paid for it for all of them. And they had an amazing vacation. People who are able to I had somebody, they paid off their parents' house and, got their parents in a position because they needed to retire, but they couldn't retire because they had the house payment. So they were able to do that. I had a realtor, and what he does is he has about 9 nieces and nephews, and he takes a little bit out of each closing and puts it into an account just special for them so that they have money to buy their first home when they reach a certain age. I mean, so it's just all these incredible things that, people are doing. I've seen them, start teams, be mentors, become speakers, open up their own companies. I've seen them do just so many incredible things. And, it all starts again. You got to know your why, because that vision is what puts the fire in your belly and gets you going towards everything else.
Right. So all those before and after stories, all of those that you just thought about, what was the spark, the actions that they took? Like what was what was the underlying theme that they all had in common that caused the before and after?
Yeah, I think it would be two things, combining them together. One is changing their mindset from being just a realtor to being a trusted advisor, and elevating how they see and how they view themselves. And then connecting it with the item, the idea of value. Again, our job isn't real estate, our job is delivering value. So again, taking that off the table and knowing that they can really just go out there and be a good friend. And I think a lot of times people forget about that, and they get caught up in the sales aspect and forget the relational aspect of it.
Powerful.
Would you mind? I realize that we're at the end of our time here. However, would you mind digging just a little bit deeper in there? We talked a lot about mindset,
Mhm.
and you said it was mindset and uh, offering value. We really didn't get into the offering of value that deep. Can you
Yeah,
take a couple of minutes and drill down just
absolutely.
a bit further?
So, if you're not delivering value, then all you're doing is taking up space. And when the average person knows 12 to 15 realtors, one of the things that's going to make us stand out and be more relevant to them is delivering value. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are delivering value during the transaction. And I think a lot of us are fantastic at that. What we forget, though, is we have to also deliver value between the transactions. This whole concept of past clients needs to escape your brain. Nobody is a past client, they are a client. Everyone is a client. Yes, there are clients that have worked with us in the past, ones that are working with us now, and ones that will work with us in the future. We serve our clients. So you've got to start saying, what are the things that I can do to serve them and create an experience when I'm working with them? But how am I going to stay connected with them between? It could be things such as educating them on the market, talking with them about housing tips, giving them vendor lists, all of those things. But let's not also forget the human aspect of delivering value. If somebody has a birthday, rather than just giving them the thumbs up on Facebook, why not pick up the phone and call them? If you see that they had surgery, check in on them. I mean, these human aspects, remembering again, it's relational. So I think we have to really realize, we have an amazing opportunity every day to deliver value that can be professional and also personal, and bringing in again that mix of both of them. Because again, we don't want to take up space. We want to be relevant to them. We want them to know we care. We don't just want to show up, get the commission check, and say, see you 7 years from now when you decide to buy again. Nobody's excited about that. They want to know that you're in this with them, that you're a part of this. This is very personal to them. So let's make it personal.
I love that. That is so real. That is so authentic. And when you come from that place
Yeah,
of service and caring, it really does separate you from the masses.
absolutely.
And it's something that I believe my entire career. I haven't always been able to articulate it, but now that I can, I certainly understand where it's coming from. I just love how you say that, Clara. So
Well, thank you. I
thank you,
appreciate that.
and thank you for delivering so much value to all of us today.
My pleasure. This was fun. Anytime
This,
you want me back, happy to
this,
come back. This is great.
this was fun. This was great. It was so good to get to know you. And I've been inspired in many ways. And I have this little quote wall back behind my computer where some of your quotes are going right up on the wall right now.
Love it.
So to help me be better. So I really appreciated our time. So nice to meet you, Clara.
You as well. Well, hopefully we'll see each other in person and do some trainings together.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
All right. Well, this is the end then of today's episode of the Real Estate Podcast. I am so happy that we had Clara Capano today with us. We earlier gave you all her contact information. Please engage with her. And Rich LaRue, thank you for joining us here as well today. And we'll see all of you back on future episodes of the Real Estate Podcast.
Like what you're hearing on The Real Estate? Tell your friends about us. Tell them to check out all of our episodes on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And don't forget to send any topics you want us to tackle to therealestate@homesmart.com.